Welcome back to our channel Coin Collectors and Treasure Hunters. Today we're diving into two amazing Australian coins that might just be hiding in your change, the 199 for 5-1 coin and the 1967 10-cent coin. At first glance they may look like everyday coins, but certain rare versions and minting errors can turn these small pieces of change into coins worth big money. In this video, I'll show you what to look for, why collectors love them, and how much they could be worth, so stay tuned because you might just have one of these valuable coins sitting in your collection right now. Let's get started. First up, the 199 Australian 5 cent has been a part of the decimal system since 1966, designed to be the smallest circulation denomination, compact, tough and made for everyday use. The obverse features the reigning monarch's portrait of the time, and the reverse famously shows the echidna, a unique Australian animal which has been the reverse design for decades. By 1990, for the design and composition were well established, and the coin was very common in everyday commerce, which matters a lot when we talk about collector value. In short, 1994 is not an early or transitional year. For the 5 cent, it's part of the modern heavy circulation era, and that influences typical market prices heavily toward low premiums unless the coin is uncirculated, a certified high-grade specimen, or has an error. A 1990 for 5C. There are several physical things to check right away. The metal, it's a cupronickel type alloy, so it has a silvery look and resists corrosion. The edge, it's smooth. The obverse portrait, look for detail in the hair and facial features, and the echidna on the reverse, detail in spines and base for grading at home. Ascar. The field's shiny or dull, any bag marks, scratches or contact marks. Is there rim wear or smoothing on the high points like the echidna's back? Look also for strike weakness, soft detail from poor striking versus wear from circulation. These are different things. Use natural, lighter loop if possible, and compare to known OMS grade photos. Even small differences, a crisp hairline on the obverse or a sharp spine detail on the echidna, can move a coin from common circulated to about uncirculated, which affects price, mintage, and what people mean by phrases like. In collector chats you'll sometimes see shorthand that's ambiguous, might mean one of three things: a reference to a mintage figure of roughly 40 million. People shorten it, someone referring to a particular mint or mint code. Australia's main coins are struck at a small number of mint facilities, or a grade shorthand, for example a numeric grade around on some informal scales. Because 1994 is generally a high circulation year, most reputable catalogues show it as far from rare. If a listing claims an extremely high price based solely on dig deeper, ask for official mintage figures, photos and certification. In short, don't take the shorthand at face value. Treat as a prompt to ask for documentation or clarity. For most everyday collectors and sellers, a circulated 1994 Australian 5 cent will usually trade at or very close to face value. Collectors typically don't pay premiums for well-worn base denomination coins from high circulation years. Once you move into the higher condition territory, values rise. Lightly circulated to about uncirculated pieces might fetch a small premium, a few cents to $1 or $2, while properly uncirculated lustrous examples could be worth a few dollars to modest double digits depending on the market and demand. The big exceptions are certified high-grade specimens, MS65 by a major grading service, or verified significant die errors. Those can reach much higher prices. A practical rule: unless your coin is visually exceptional, certified, or an error, don't expect a windfall, expect modest collector interest instead. Here's where value can spike: errors and unusual varieties. Look for minting errors like off-center strikes, clipped plankets, double strikes, or die cracks that produce unusual raised lines. A subtle variant like a double die or a rare die state that changes a detail on the echidna can also attract bidders. These error coins are much less common than standard circulation pieces, and their value is driven by rarity plus collector enthusiasm. If you suspect an error, photograph it with a macro lens, compare it to verified examples online or in reference guides, and consider sending it to a grading service for authentication before selling. A certified error can command a much stronger price than an uncertified claim. If you think you've got a high-value specimen, don't just toss it on eBay and hope for the best. Steps that help: take high-resolution photos from multiple angles, obverse, reverse, edge, and any close-ups of defects or strike details. Note provenance: where you found it how it's being stored, get a second opinion from a reputable coin dealer, or a dedicated coin forum for serious candidates, get slapped by a major grading service. The cost can be justified if the coin's potential market value is high. Buyers pay for certainty, certification, and high-quality photos. Reduce beer risk and frequently produce higher sales prices. Be honest and transparent in your listing. Show wear marks and any discoloration. Credibility sells. There's no single best channel. Pick the one that fits your timeline and risk level. Local coin shops offer quick cash, but usually pay wholesale. Online marketplaces, eBay, specialist auction houses, coin forums reach collectors and can yield higher prices, but require better listings and patience. Graded coins typically perform best through auction houses or specialist dealers who target collectors. Expect selling fees and shipping insurance costs when you calculate net proceeds. If you're uncertain, start with an appraisal from a trusted local dealer, then compare that to current online auction results for similar grade 1994-5C pieces. Always factor in fees before you set your desired net. After you show your best photos or a close-up of the coin, say something like, "If you liked this walkthrough, smash that like button, subscribe and ring the bell. We post coin finds, grading guides and sale walkthroughs every week." Want deeper dives or a coin appraisal on screen? Join the channel membership for exclusive videos where I grade subscriber coins. Live and get a members only Discord where I answer quick valuation questions. If you're selling, use the channel's seller checklist PDF link in the description. It is photo templates, appraisal steps, and a price comparison spreadsheet to help you list for the best price that gives your viewers immediate value and a clear path to engage with your channel and offerings without being pushy. The 1994 Australian 5 cent is usually a common modern circulation coin. In most cases, its collector value is modest unless condition is exceptional, it's certified a high grade, or it's a verified minting error. If you find one, check detail, look for unusual die or strike features, photograph it well and get a second opinion before listing. Don't be discouraged if most examples aren't worth much. Coin collecting is a numbers game, and sometimes finding one special piece makes up for dozens of commons. If you want, drop a photo of your coin in the comments or post it on our Discord. I or another moderator will give a quick take. Next up, the 1967 Australian 10-cent coin was first introduced in 1966 and features the beautiful lyrebird design created by Stuart Devlin, who is well known as the designer of Australia's decimal coinage. The obverse side of the 196710-1 coin features the young effigy of Queen Elizabeth, sculpted by Arnold Machen, which was used from 1966 through 1980. For this effigy shows the Queen wearing a tiara, a regal and dignified portrayal that remained a staple of Australian coinage for nearly 2 decades. The reverse with the intricate lyrebird design is still admired today for its fine details and artistic value. The 1967 issue holds the distinction of being among the earliest production runs of this coin, which makes it more collectible than some of the later years. For new collectors, understanding the design elements is important, as spotting variations, die cracks and mint errors often begins with knowing the details of what a normal coin should look like, which are always key when it comes to coin values. In 1967, the Royal Australian Mint produced approximately 83 million 10-1 coins, which at first glance seems like a huge number, and it is. Because of this high mintage, many circulated examples are still found today in old collections, boxes of coins, or even mixed in with loose change. However, the true value lies in the condition of the coin. Circulated pieces which have seen years of handling might only be worth face value or slightly more to collectors who enjoy filling date runs, but uncirculated examples, especially those with original mint luster, are much harder to come by and can command strong premiums. This is where the difference between a common pocket find and a collectible coin worth dollars or even tens of dollars becomes clear. A heavily circulated 1967 10-cent coin is generally only worth around 10 to 50 cents to collectors depending on demand. Coins in fine to very fine condition can fetch slightly higher amounts, perhaps between $1 and $2, but the real jump comes when you find one in uncirculated or near uncirculated condition. Such coins can be worth anywhere from $10 to $25 or more, especially if they are graded by a professional. Service collectors often Pay a premium for coins with full details on the lyrebird's tail feathers, sharp edges on the queen's profile and minimal bag marks or scratches. Proof-like strikes or coins kept in pristine condition since 1967 are particularly desirable, and in some cases auction results have seen high-quality examples fetch even higher amounts. An especially interesting aspect of the 1967 10-cent coin is the presence of minting errors. Error coins are always a hot topic because they can dramatically increase value. Some examples to watch out for include off-center strikes, double strikes, planchette flaws, and die cracks. If you're lucky enough to find a 1967 10-cent coin with such an error, its value could jump from just a few dollars to potentially hundreds, depending on the rarity and visual appeal of the mistake. Collectors around the world actively seek out error coins because they represent a tangible piece of minting history, showing how machines can sometimes slip up during the mass production process. So when examining your 1967 coins, always check carefully under good light and magnification. You never know what hidden treasure might be staring back at you. Another factor that makes the 1967 10-1 coin appealing is its place in Australian numismatic history. Because it was only the second year of decimal coinage, people who lived through that changeover often have fond memories of these coins. Many collectors today started their journey by holding onto coins like this, which adds an emotional and nostalgic value that goes beyond dollars and cents. For those building a complete collection of Australian decimal coins, the 1967 issue is an essential piece, and for those interested in varieties and historical context, it provides a fascinating glimpse into the early days of modern minting in Australia. This is why, even though the mintage numbers were high good condition, examples continue to remain in demand among hobbyists. Silver stacking, and why some people mistakenly believe that all old coins contain silver. Unlike the pre-decimal Australian shillings, florins, and crowns, which were made of silver alloys, the 1967 10-cent coin was produced entirely from copper-nickel. That means it doesn't have intrinsic metal value like older coins, but instead its value is tied to numismatic demand. However, don't be disappointed, many copper-nickel coins have proven to be highly collectible due to historical importance and design appeal. So while your 1967 10-cent coin won't fetch a high price based on metal content, its numismatic value is what really matters, and that is where collectors should focus their attention. For those wondering whether they should hold onto these coins or sell them, the answer really depends on condition and rarity. If you have a circulated example, it might be best to keep it as part of a date run or family keepsake, since its resale value will be modest. But if you have a pristine uncirculated coin or one with a mint error, it could be worth listing on online auction sites or taking to a local dealer. Some collectors have reported selling high-grade examples for as much as $30 to $50 when the right beer is found. Of course, professional grading and authentication can enhance value, especially if you believe your coin is exceptional. So before you rush to sell, take the time to properly evaluate your coin and maybe even get a second opinion from an expert. The 1967 10-cent coin might not make you instantly rich, but it is a cornerstone of any serious Australian decimal collection. It represents the early journey of decimalisation, carries historical weight, and can sometimes surprise collectors with high auction results for rare errors and mint condition examples. When compared to other denominations from the same year, the 10-cent coin holds its own because of its wide circulation and iconic design. Many collectors find that it is the perfect starting point for building a collection, since it is affordable in circulated grades but also offers the challenge of hunting down uncirculated or error pieces. If you enjoyed learning about the 1967 Australian 10-cent coin, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss future videos on coin values, errors, and hidden treasures in your change. By subscribing, you'll be joining a growing community of coin enthusiasts who share tips, discoveries, and experiences about collecting. Whether you're here for the history, the thrill of finding valuable coins, or simply the joy of learning something new, subscribing ensures you'll always be in the loop. So keep an eye out for those lyrebirds in your collection. Check every coin carefully for errors, and remember, sometimes the smallest coins can hold the biggest stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.